And we're back. It's Advocates for Change on theedgeonair.com. I'm Everett O'Neill. In the studio with me, we have Tim Funches, Paul Shivari on the boards, Program Director of theedgeonair.com. Once again, thank you so much for allowing us to use this platform.
No problem.
Yes. So once again, we're going to try to take another shift into a different direction. It's about 4:50. And we've been talking about, just a lot of problems that's been going on in our community. But we also want to, look at some of the positives, such as, Jackie Robinson West and the incredible run that they had during the Little League World Series. We can also, talk about, people who have, positive examples of people who have made it out of, these environments that we speak of, like a Derrick Rose who comes from Inglewood, one of the, if not the worst neighborhood in Chicago, to become, the face of a franchise in Chicago Bulls, or Dwayne Wade from your neighborhood, Robbins, Illinois.
Right.
There are plenty of success stories that we can talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that we're gonna have to lean on those positive stories to start instilling what I was talking about earlier, and that's hope. Individuals have to be able to see that there's another way to live this life.
Yeah.
And that there's things that they can look forward to. Just coming from those types of areas, just piggybacking off of what you were saying about Dwayne Wade, man, he had it rough, with the way that his childhood with his mom and dad, and just kind of being out there on his own, and he relied heavily on his first wife's family.
Yeah.
And those were the individuals who gave him hope, and that is a great story for individuals to take, and understand that there is hope out here. You got a guy who's extremely talented and very big for his age, but he didn't have those, that foundation of an awesome family at home. He had he had friends, who had awesome leaders in their household, and then he had a longtime girlfriend who had awesome leaders in her household as well too, that he was able to lean on, depend on, and learn from. So that's kind of why us as adults, we have to be very, very active in our communities and our in our own children as well too, so that they can be also leaders amongst their peers.
Yeah.
And give hope as well too. Paul, do you agree?
Oh, definitely. I think when you look at like some of these neighborhoods, it's kind of easy. We know some of the bigger stories are professional athletes, and that's someone with a God-given talent that not everyone can have. So it's almost like you don't want to create that false hope of the only way to get out is to become rich and famous. There's many good places you can go. There's learning resources all around, especially like right here in our city. There's many places many people can go. The types of schools we have. I mean, University of Chicago, one of the top colleges in the world, and that's right in Hyde Park, in the south side of Chicago. It's so you don't have to go far to really further your education, and you don't necessarily have to rely on being a Dwayne Wade or Derrick Rose to get out of the neighborhood. But it's great to hear these stories because especially with Derrick Rose too. I mean, he's almost not only is he the face of the Chicago Bulls, but he almost kind of represents the city of Chicago for he means a lot to so many people because they want to see their sons and daughters be able to get out of the neighborhood and do great things for the world. So they're really depending on him to really succeed, not only on the basketball court but in life and stay out of trouble. Which Derrick Rose has been a great role model, but just a lot of pressure on him. I almost feel like he kind of and now we're kind of getting into a sports realm of things, but I feel like he really carries a lot of the weight of the city on his shoulders, and I think he handles it really well.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great source of inspiration for people.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we can even talk about ourselves. I mean, I know for me, I harped on it earlier in the hour. I came from an environment where my peers, all kind of had the same crab in the barrel mentality, and I wanted to be different. Just a little bit about myself. I'm an on-air talent for a radio station out in Rockford called 97 ZOK. It's WZOK FM. but I also work as a promotions assistant for Radio Disney. And one of the cool things about Radio Disney is the fact that we are out in these communities. Whether it's the northern suburbs or at the West Side Music Festival, we are all over. And we're constantly touching, a child and a family's heart for the hour and a half that we are there. But one of my favorite moments working there was, last fall, we did a lot of school visits. And a lot of the school visits were in, like, I don't want to say underprivileged areas, but, they weren't, the cream of the crop. And so we would go to these schools and, like, we would take over their auditorium. And, like, they were so excited because, here we are, Radio Disney. And to them, we're the equivalent of rock stars. Of course, they would want to see Mickey and Minnie. But, for them, we're in there teaching them, the power of positivity and, making the players to have a good day. I remember in particular there were these two students who didn't make good decisions. And so the principal had me, talk to them, about, making positive decisions. And it resonated with them. I guess maybe because it was from me, because I am a black guy and they were, black students. But, there's just some things that, a white female principal can't tell these young students when, they aren't in that environment. So to, be able to relate to them and to see me, come from that and, show that there's, more if, you just apply yourself differently, it's one of the greater gifts that I've been given, in my young life of living. So, I mean, we all clubs that they can be a part of, it's just about getting active, doing things that'll keep them out of the streets and out of trouble. I mean, just, not to go back to it, but sports is another one. I played football, I wrestled. I was constantly in something that, taught me discipline
right.
and respect. Because, the one thing that my coaches taught me was that, you're representing something bigger than you. And I think that was always important to me, like even to today with the companies that I work for, is that every decision that I make now isn't just about me, but it's going to be a reflection of whoever I'm representing. And sometimes you have to, I feel like it's important to like instill that in their heads, because maybe some of these, young people don't feel like they have something, that they can represent or, anyone that they can be proud of. And so I think maybe that could be a great solution, just trying to instill into them that they have a purpose and that, they are, appreciated and wanted. And I mean, you guys are more than welcome to agree and chime in as well.
I'm glad you used the example of sports again, just about, playing it like, from a youth standpoint, and organized sports activities. Because it's it's all about team building, and it's a greater goal that you're working towards. That's not just about you; it's about you and a collection of people, your friends, your teammates, all working towards something together. And it provides that discipline that some people just don't have in their lives. So I was kind of glad that you referenced that.
Yeah.
And just to go a little bit deeper on that, what it teaches a lot of kids, honestly. Sports in the times we live in today, unfortunately, a lot of children in areas like Inglewood and other places that are similar to that are going to face. They're going to come in contact with victory very little.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't know what it's like to feel like that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because there is no one there to pat them on their back. So what happens is that gives them a platform to be able to win, and know what victory is about and know what overcoming is about. Sports isn't just about shooting a basket. It's about fighting through adversity. Which games are the best games? Those games that come down to the wire where both teams are fighting and committed to making sure that they're the one that's going to come out on top. Yeah. That right there, that spirit put into any child's lives makes them more determined and more effective. And that's what it's all about.
Yes. All right, we're going to take another quick short break, and when we come back, we'll have some more interviews and some calls on the way. Once again, this is The Advocate for Change on theedgeonair.com.